Alright then, so in this lesson we're going to be doing a bit of vibe coding, and to be honest that is a term I really hate. I don't know whether it's just my British pessimism coming through, but to me the phrase is just pure cringe. Kind of sounds like a euphemism for technical debt with lo-fi beats added on, but saying that, I'm not going to lie, it's quite fun to play around with sometimes, and if you have any expertise in the technologies you're vibe coding with, then it could be useful to get a project up and running very quickly. So I'm not trying to hate on vibe coding because I'm sure for a lot of developers it's a good way of working that suits them, but in my experience it can sometimes lead to buggy and messy code, especially as you add more complexity to the application. And for any serious client work, it's definitely not something I would choose to do yet. I much prefer to have my fingers in the code, know what's going on, and have full oversight and control of the whole process on a more granular level, even if I'm still using AI to help me. That said, I think vibe coding tools definitely have a place for slightly simpler applications and personal projects. Anyway, for those uninitiated, vibe coding is essentially a way to use natural language to communicate with AI, which then completely generates applications for us from scratch. We can also continue the chat to tweak, update, and redesign the app as we go. And in the true sense of the expression, we shouldn't actually be concerned with the code at all. We shouldn't even look at it. We should just chat our way to production, and whatever AI tool or model is doing all of the coding and heavy lifting for us, that should be what generates the application, not us using code. And at the end of it, we should have a working application which we can then deploy. Now, for today's session, we're going to be using Bolt, which is one of many vibe coding platforms out there. You could also use Lovable or Replit or whatever else you might find. But I found Bolt one of the easiest to work with, and it produces some good results a lot of the time. So if you want to follow along, you can head to bolt.new and you can sign up for a free account and make a free application. There are some usage limits, so if you hit those, you can always sign up for a pro account if you want to. And I feel like we wouldn't truly be vibing unless we get something going on Spotify in the background. So for those interested, I found this artist called Vibe Coding Raccoon, which I'm going to play for the duration of this video to really get into the spirit of things. And I'm hoping it's going to inspire me to make something really cool with Bolt. All right, so let's give this a whirl. All right then, so what do we want to build? Well, I'm going to say right here, I want you to make me a retro gaming blog where I can add new posts and other users can comment on them. I want you to use retro style fonts and pixel icons where you can. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is click on this to enhance the prompt with AI. So not only am I vibe coding and vibe prompting as well, it's doing all the work for me. And this just basically enhances what I've already written and decides a few more things that it wants to do. So if we scroll through this, you can see it's going to create a multi-page blog website with a home page, post pages, admin area, add a system for adding new blog posts. And if we scroll down here, it's got some design requirements. Down here, the technical implementation, content structure, etc. So let's click on this arrow now to make this website. Alright then, so here we go. This is the result, which kind of looks like a game in itself. So yeah, it's looking alright. Probably not how I would have designed it, but there we go. If we scroll up, you can see that Bolt, first of all, thought for 11 seconds. It came up with a bit of a plan right here, and then it started to implement it. It installed all the dependencies, created the files, and then ran the application. So we can preview this application over here. We can go to the different screens. By the way, we just got a little beep there, listen. Can you hear that? So that's a nice little touch it's added. All right, so this is all working. If we read more, yep, it's going to the details page. This is actually pretty good. Now, it's not exactly as I would have coded it. I want it to look a little more modern with kind of a nod to the 90s, not look like it was built on a 90s computer. So what I'm going to do is come down here and say, I would like, if I can spell, the site to look a little more modern and just have a nod to retro gaming rather than look like a retro game in itself. And then I'm going to press enter and see what it can do. Okay, and now it thinks it's updated the design to look modern, which I probably disagree with. I think, in fact, it's probably done something with the styles where they're not being applied. So what I'm going to do is just come down here and I'm going to say the styles, or rather I will say it doesn't look like the styles are being applied at all. It looks completely, cannot spell, unstyled. And press enter. Alright, so it's sorted that issue out, and to be honest, it's gone completely the other way now. I think this looks a little soulless and drab. So I'm going to say this looks a little too drab. Can we have something in between the two? Alright, so it's getting there, I suppose. Let's also say now we want the font to be a little retro, and maybe if we can use some more retro style pixel emojis. So let's say, can the font be a little more retro? Can you also add some more pixel art style emojis? Alright, so it's saying it's enhanced it and it's added more emojis. I don't see more emojis. Oh, there's a few emojis here. There's one. Not many more. There's a couple of emojis here, I think. Let's go to posts. And then let's go to admin. Yeah. Alright, so I mean, this is the problem, I think, with vibe coding sometimes, because you can ask for something, and because natural language is so ambiguous, it's going to interpret it in a way that maybe I wouldn't interpret it. But I mean, it still looks okay. Let's ask for some spacing around this thing right here. And in fact, what we're going to do is use this inspector, and I'm going to grab this right here, and I'm going to say, can you add some more white space around this, like so? And that's a good way to kind of hone in on individual elements, I suppose, so you can get some context to Bolt. Alright, so you can see it's added some white space at least, but it still doesn't look great. I mean, this is not how I would design the site. I kind of like the header up here. I like the general layout, I like the colours, the way we've got a subtle kind of gradient going on the buttons. But there's a lot I don't like. The spacing up here, the fonts I still don't like. There's too much spacing here. I don't know. It's okay. But I want to stop prompting now, and I just want to show you a few of the other things we can use with Bolt. So first of all, if you go to integrations, you can actually add Stripe or Supabase or GitHub integrations, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to do that now. If we go to the inspector, I've shown you that you can inspect different elements on the page, and you can provide that as context to the chat. You can also go to the device previewer and choose different devices here. You can open this up in a separate browser. If you click on this link right here, that's going to open it up. You need to connect to the project, and then eventually it should load the project in the browser for you. You can see we've still got the inspector running right here. What else can we do? We can preview the code, and I said before, as vibe coders, maybe we shouldn't preview the code, but it is there if you want it. We can also go to the settings, and I'm going to go to knowledge. And right here we have a couple of things we can add. So we have a global system prompt, which we can basically add some text into. And that text is going to get sent to all of our different projects as we make prompts. So it gives Bolt a little bit more context about the projects, about different things we want to do. For example, I've said here, use Tailwind for the styling. And we also have project-specific prompts as well. So for this particular project, I could add some more context. All right then, so I think that's enough vibe coding for me for now. And the end result was actually, well, it wasn't terrible. But one of the problems with this approach is that at some point, if I was to create something more complex or add more complex features, well, then the code's probably going to get a little bit messy. And in fact, it probably already is. You can see they dump a lot of the code in one single file here called components. There's a lot going on right here. And this is not necessarily how I would code the application. So it can also lead to a lot of technical debt as well. As your application grows and becomes more complex, you add more features. And I think all of this is more true for maybe non-developers or inexperienced developers. And certainly tools like Bolt, they do have a place for those who have the technical experience and knowledge to guide and prompt the AI to do things in a way that leads to a better end product. And also for those who know how to go into the code and fix it if they ever need to. But because I like having a more hands-on approach, I prefer to use AI in a more nuanced way, tackling coding tasks which are more focused, more narrow, one at a time, rather than just vibe coding the whole thing from scratch. And I find that a more granular approach generally leads to less buggy code and more maintainable code. Not always, but generally. So, for the rest of the series, we're going to be jumping off this vibe coding train, and instead, we'll be using AI in a more traditional developer workflow and environment using GitHub Copilot in VS Code.